Well, good morning and welcome to Move Early, Move Often. I'm Blake Martin and my co host, as always, as ever, keeping it real, bringing you the technicals from. No, I guess I'm bringing you the technicals right now, but he's going to get around to bringing you the technicals again. He's from the heart of downtown Toronto. It's Dr. Thomas Karakolis. And this morning it is Twisted Tuesday, and it's kind of gray where I am, but I think there's kind of an internal sunshine that we can have today. So that's what we're going for. Um, you're going to need an exercise mat if you don't have one, a little towel. It doesn't have to be super huge, just a little guy, and a chair. And I've got here my folding chair. If you have a rotating chair, it's going to be more difficult. Um, so one of the reasons why sometimes we have a lack of mobility is we can have constrictions. So our muscles work in pairs typically, antagonist pairs. One pulls in one direction and another one pulls in the other. And so one of the things that we're doing increasingly as we kind of migrate towards our screens all the time is we're kind of rounding our shoulders and we're moving into this what's called a kyphotic posture with our neck. And we're really kind of geeking our heads forward and we're increasing that kind of forward movement of our head. And this geeking forward has two effects. One, it shortens up all the muscles in the front, and it slackens the muscles in the back. And they become, and through disuse atrophy, because they're not kind of drawing us back, they become weaker. So part of our mobility work today is we're both going to look at some moves that both kind of loosen the front, but they also work towards strengthening the back. And we're going to work with these antagonist pairs to explore that back strengthening. So this is we're not really going to do much of a warm up. We're just going to do some shoulder circles. So just do this with me. Shoulder circles, elbows, and really try to shrug your shoulders up near your ears. Really, with your elbows, you really want to move the whole shoulder girdle. Keep your chin tucked, and then your arms all the way around. You can be standing for this. If you've got really long arms that kind of drag across the ground. And we're going to go in the opposite direction. Really shrug them up by your ears. Really get the scapulae moving independently of the arms. Get the elbows up. Nice, nice, nice. And then the whole arms. And then hug across and open, hug across and open, hug across. Switch your arms for, if you're going to keep the same arms, but just switch which one is on top. With each swing, you're just loosening and warming things up. All right. That's pretty much all we're going to do because the moves are going to do some warming you up all by themselves. I'm going to start my little timer here just so I don't go too long. All right. We're going to start with a move, sometimes called a reach back. There's a few different things it gets called. And I'm going to start with I don't know which way to show you this. So I'm going to start with my knees about shoulder width apart. And I'm going to start with my elbows on the floor like this. All right. Kind of almost a puppy dog or kind of a halfway between a sphinx and a puppy dog position in yoga. So I'm kind of like this. I'm back. Okay, I'm not right up on my quad position here. And what I'm going to do, and the reason I'm doing this is so that my hips can't move to compensate for what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to take one hand and I'm going to place it behind my neck and do this with me. And or maybe you want to watch first. So we're gonna start like this, and we're gonna open, leading with our eyes, and then looking back towards the floor, and bring our elbow down. All right. So come into this position, please, and we're gonna do this 10 times. All right. So lead with your eyes, look, toward the elbow that you're lifting and open as far as you can without shifting your hips. You want to keep this in the thoracic spine and lead on the way back down. That's one. We're going to do 10 of these. That's two. Looking, leading with the eyes on the way back down. Lead with the eyes, look out. Really open that elbow, but don't compensate in the hip. 5. Bring the elbow back down. 6. Really open the elbow as much as possible. Lead with the eyes. 7. 8. Keep breathing. 9. Lead with the eyes. Open as far as possible. 10. All right. Now, if you're like me, you'll kind of feel that. I feel it in my hip as well because I lack some mobility in my hips. But we're going to switch around to the other side now. Opposite. You don't have to turn. I'm just turning so you can see what I'm doing. Elbows on the floor. My forearms are on the floor. And I'm back in this nearly fully back. I don't have to be all the way back, but I'm back quite far so that I can't shift in my hips to compensate. Hand behind my neck, elbow on the floor. Lead with my eyes looking. 1. Lead with my eyes looking down. Lead with my eyes. 2. Oh, I felt a little crack in my neck there. Leading with my eyes again. 3. Open as far as possible without shifting my hips. 4. Lead with my eyes back down. Look to where I'm going. 5. Open, open, open. Don't shift in your hips. 6. We're trying to keep the lumbar spine as neutral as possible here. 7. So that this is all in the thoracic. 8. Leading with my eyes. And then leading with my eyes back down. 9. And 10. So I'm working on strengthening the little muscles in between. We'll take a little pause here before we get to the next exercise. Working on strengthening the muscles in between our scapulae, they're between our shoulder blades, so that we can draw them back, retract them more. Because we have to counter this constant position that we're doing here. All right. Coming back to the first side, I'm turning directions again so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to take almost exactly the same move. You'll have your kind of semi-sphinx, semi-puppy dog position, and you're going to bring your arm, your first arm, in this case my right, and it's going to go behind your back, and you're going to rotate it inward as low as it can go. If you can touch your thigh with it, then that's great. And then leading with your eyes, you're going to raise it outward. So it's a reach back with your hand on the lumbar spine, looking down. And this is different. We're getting at different muscles here. We've changed the arm very slightly in terms of position. 4, opening as wide as possible. 6. Remembering to breathe. Bring that arm all the way down. 7. Leading with the eyes. 8. 9. 10. All right. Switching arms. Again, both forearms on the floor. I'm changing sides so that you can see what I'm up to. And with the forearms on the floor, my semi-sphinx puppy dog, my hand is in my low back. And I'm going to try and bring it forward. This arm, for me, has much less mobility going forward in this, this inward rotation direction. So I'm going to be aware of that. I'm going to work with it with my own limitations. And I'm going to go as far as I can. I'm going to try and draw it down. So looking outward, 1, trying to open, working different muscles, leading with my eyes. 2, keep breathing, lead with your eyes. 3, so we're strengthening these little muscles, but we're also liberating the muscles that are in the front. 4, I may have done 4 twice. You get a bonus repetition. 5, really open, lead with your eyes. 6, bring that elbow down when you come down as far as possible. 7, 8, try not to compensate in the hips. 9, opening. 10. All right. Come up, shake out your arms just a little bit. Okay, we're not going to get to the chair today, but we're going to do 2 more exercises. This next exercise, again, it's very similar. The idea is that it's to open up so I don't want to get too technical, but there's muscles that draw your shoulder girdle forward and down, and we're trying to counteract that. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to place my hands at my sides. So glue your elbows to your ribs and make sure that your chin is down, it's tucked, back of your neck is tall, and your shoulders are pressed downward. All right? And with your hands in this position now, you're going to outwardly rotate as far as you can. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. With your elbows pressed to your ribs, just really stuck down, your shoulder blades down, your chin tucked. Second time. 2, 2, as outward as possible, keeping your elbows in. 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. It should be a 10 count. I don't really kind of know where I am. But I think that was about 10. Just kind of relax things. Shoulders down. Back, chin down. Outward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, shake it out. And outward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the challenge is keeping your posture, keeping your shoulders down, and having that good outward rotation with your elbows glued to your ribs. One more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Taking our little towel, fold it so that you've got an area about like this. Now, if you've got a much longer towel, you could also conceivably, you could kind of roll it up kind of like this. But what we want is we want a fairly small surface area, and we're going to lay it on our mat. And here, I think you can see what I'm doing if it's about back here. So we didn't get to our chair today. We'll get to our chair the next time we do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay on top of this, and I'm trying to get it so that it's right between my shoulder blades. So here, I'm just going to tilt my camera down a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So here I am. I've got my towel. And can you see where it is? It's kind of right between my shoulder blades. And all I'm going to do, I'm just going to open my arms out. And I'm just going to lay here passively. And we're going to lay here passively, just very briefly. Allowing this to press our thoracic spine into slight hyperextension. It shouldn't be too high. And we're just going to passively lay here and allow this to open things up. My arms are kind of in a T shape here. And I'm just trying to let my shoulders fall onto the mat. They don't quite reach the mat at this stage, not for me anyways. Some of you might be kind of Gumby-like and they might already go there. But I'm just trying to let my shoulder blades just touch the mat. Mine are slightly off. And I'm breathing slowly and calmly, mindfully. Couple more deep breaths here. Make sure the back of your head is on the mat so that your chin will be slightly tucked. You don't want the top of your head to be on your mat. All right. And if I was doing this by myself, I would take a little bit longer here, but eventually we're all going to have to go to work. So one more deep inhale. Roll to your side, off the towel, and tuck your head and roll up. All right. So we used a principle today from the way your muscles work. And when a nerve, when you innervate, when you ask a muscle to be active, when you contract a muscle voluntarily, the antagonist muscle will release. It's a principle called reciprocal inhibition, whereby typically two muscles, when one muscle is contracting, its antagonist will release or not contract. And so we're trying to use that to first strengthen the muscles that have been over slackened and weakened. And then we're trying to loosen the muscles, like so all these muscles that draw us forward, we're trying to loosen them by actively working against them. So that's what we were up to today. You've moved early. I hope it was a good twisting for your Twisted Tuesday. Please remember to move often and have a great day.